My favorite stories about Jesus all have to do with hypocrisy. See, I despise hypocrisy to an extent. There's a difference. You can be a hypocrite, but change. You could be a hypocrite in the moment. But there are people that are hypocrites for a profession. I despise those people. Jesus despised them as well. As a matter of fact, that is the one unforgivable sin. And my favorite Jesus stories have to do with that. You see, Jesus was on his way to Israel. And on his way to Israel, the apostles started talking about how they were hungry. And, hey, why don't we go here, Jesus? It's closer. We could get some food. And Jesus saw a fig tree, a date tree on the side of the road, and was like, oh, no, God has provided. And he walks over to the fig tree, and there's no fruit on it. And he starts to curse the fig tree. And the apostles are like, it's not even the season for figs. What is he doing? Why is he doing that? You're about to find out. Because he leaves there, goes to Jerusalem, Israel. And he goes to the Temple Mount. You see, Jesus had an issue with the Pharisees because the Pharisees made it so only the pure and the rich could become close to God. In the markets outside of the temple, that's where the Gentiles were allowed. So that's where business was allowed. Instead of prayer, instead of them being close to God, they were only allowed to hold a market. Jesus hated this. God is for everybody. He lost his mind. The hypocrisy of saying you're a holy man, but then keeping God from the masses because they didn't have enough coin or they weren't socially important, pissed Jesus off. So he flipped the tables. And then he stood at the temple gate and he chastised and rebuked the Pharisees for what they were doing, saying they were not men of God. They were not holy men, because a man of God brings all of the sheep into feed, into the pasture. And these men only brought select the merchants, the royalty, the high class. Only they were allowed to be close to God because the Pharisees enjoyed sitting at their tables every night and getting wined and dined and treated like royalty. Jesus had nothing of it. He was pissed. He told everybody off, flipped over tables, whipped people with whips, and then he stormed off. And as he stormed off and he was leaving, they walked by that same fig tree, and it was dead. And Jesus saw that and laughed. And he laughed because he knew his future was set in motion. That was God telling him that his time had come. Jesus may be the Son of God, but he was a man just like any one of us. He was frail. He was emotional. And when he saw something he completely didn't like, sometimes it pushed him over the edge. If the Son of God can be pushed that far by evil, then who are we to think that we're any better than him? He then went to Gethsemane to pray and to think. And that's pretty much where God told him, yeah, time's up, man. They're coming for you. You laid it all out for him. And he knew it was coming. He was so stressed, he was sweating buckets of water. Like he was being pressed like an olive, which, funny enough, Gethsemane means olive press. So that's one of my favorite stories about Jesus. My favorite stories of Jesus are when he stands up to hypocrisy. He turns the other cheek. He preaches to be a good person, to be kind, to be caring, to give of yourself, to take, to allow others to give of themselves. But the one thing he couldn't stand was hypocrisy. That is the unforgivable sin. I'm not a wholly religious man. I've read the Bible a couple of times. But those stories stand out to me. The fig tree, the Garden of Gethsemane, flipping the tables, rebuking the Pharisees. Jesus, it was all done for a reason. It was all done for the apostles to watch. It was meaningful. It was beautiful. It was poignant. And it got their attention in a way just kindness doesn't. Because if you show kindness all the time, people will take you for granted. It's the moment that you allow your emotions to show anger that people start to pay attention. That in itself is a lesson of the nature of man. You can't always turn the other cheek, because eventually your kindness, your love will be taken for granted. Sometimes you have to stand up and push down the Pharisees. Flip a few tables and let people know you mean business.